Eid Mubarak, my brother.
Eid Mubarak, bro. Eid Mubarak. That is my name this week. Eid Mubarak Brown. Eid Mubarak to all our listeners out there. Hope you all had a lovely what was it? It was Friday, I think. Yeah, it was Friday.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was a nice time. Nice time.
Amazing, man. How's the family celebrating?
Yeah. To be honest, like Leicester being the only place in the world that's still under lockdown, it seems. Uh, I don't know how we've managed to do this.
Yeah.
I swear, people from Leicester back me up on this, right? Because I remember hearing that we were like last to get a lot of coronavirus. Like
Hmm.
it was everywhere. Obviously, London was crazy, but we were like somehow skating by, and then it's gone from some places, and now we're just like hanging on to it like it's fashionable. Like, what was this?
It
Um,
is fashionable, man. It's the only thing the world gives a shit about right now.
Tell me about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've still got it. We've still got kind of lockdown, and then I think I don't watch the news, so I don't know. But one of my clients actually told me on Friday morning. He was saying that there was an announcement on Thursday night at 10 o'clock or something, talking
Mm.
about how lockdown was still like in effect, and there was no greeting and no meeting, and almost like they'd like up the measures. I don't know this. Like I'm
Okay.
talking on what I think he said. So yeah, it was just like we weren't supposed to meet in two big groups, which we really didn't. It wasn't like a lot of family. It was just a little bit of family.
Mm.
But yeah, I think any kind of time where now, especially when you're allowed to meet with people and just have
Mm.
that mix, so nice just to have people around. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
people will kind
completely,
of
man.
through the actual time when we were at my cousin's house, Bilal's house actually.
Mm.
We were there, and sometimes people would drop in and they would just stay for a couple of minutes and they would just shoot out rather than kind of staying and kind of being amongst. But it was just nice, man. It was a nice break. It was a nice kind of occasion. Even though, like, what I remember last time it was Eid, because we have two Eids, right? People who
Mm.
think, nah, it's Eid all the time. What are you guys playing at? Like,
Yeah. It's always
um,
worth celebrating.
yeah, man, that's the one. That's the one. I was joking with my mate Elliot. I was saying like, if you want more followers, just have two Christmases. Like, it's pretty easy, eh? Pretty easy. It's just like double the fun. But so we have like a small Eid and a big Eid, right? One of them is after Ramzan, where we finish
Mhm.
fasting, and then Eid on the end of it, and then one of them is to mark the start of Hajj, which is like pilgrimage and all that stuff. So this is that Hajj one, and yeah, just having that time with family, having that bit of break, even though the mosques aren't open, it's nice. It's nice. Super chilled
Yeah.
out, man. Chilled out.
Yeah, wicked.
And
Yeah, tell me what you know about the Hajj, the Eid for Hajj. Is it the so you're saying it's marking the start of Hajj?
yeah, so basically, do you know what? I don't know that much about it, but what we
Mhm.
were discussing on the day was that it's a it's a pilgrimage. It's a basically we retrace the steps of people who have done through history, right? So
Okay.
there's certain kind of places that have historical significance and religious significance through the like culmination of Islam in Saudi and in the surrounding areas, right? So like it would have been said that said prophet or said person who has importance within the religion has gone to this place. So other people, kind of followers of today, will go and visit that place, and there's what's the word? I don't want to say rituals, but it's like there's just things to do at each one of these places, if I can put it that way. Yeah, that's kind of as much as I know about it. It's something I'm learning more about myself. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's that's the that's the that's the significance of this time, is that
Right.
there's about, I think, 10 days beforehand where there's
Mhm.
separate things that happened on those 10 days, um, obviously way back in the day, but then it culminates with the actual final day, which is when we do Eid.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about. I didn't know this is the big one then. So it's like the
yeah.
one after fasting is the little one, the little guy.
Kind of, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And do you know what? One
Okay.
thing I got a real shout out is that, like, I've got a lot of people, like clients and friends and just acquaintances over the years, who make a big point to like wish Eid Mubarak to people, which I think is super nice. Like that's
Yeah.
and obviously like yourself and like loads of other people who just you're not like you're not Muslim, you're not of like our culture or whatever, Islam or whatever, but not culture, religion. But I just find there's a lot of like well wishes and like that kind of stuff at this time of year, which is really nice. Like just like
Yeah.
thank you to the rest of the world for acknowledging this, because it is cool. It is cool. It shows that people out there, the last couple of years, like Islam's kind of gone a little bit kind of up and down through like newspapers and people, also people who just give us a bad name, but shows that there's just cool people out there who want to just celebrate and say congratulations.
Yeah,
So,
exactly, man.
I've noticed that a lot. I always notice that when Eid time, like I've got Hindu friends, Sikh friends, Christian friends, non-religious friends. It doesn't really matter. They're always up there saying, "Eid Mubarak," and how you have a great day and all this kind of stuff. So it's really nice.
Yeah, amazing, man. It's cool. Yeah, it's nice to be able to spend that time with the fam this week as well. Then.
Too right. Who you been spending your time with? Because someone's been putting it upside you, man. What is this?
Scar Brown, man. My first name change, episode 17, and it took this long. Is we got to do some park jitsu yesterday. It was pretty jokes, man. Exactly. So that's it. That's what we're calling it. Is like got some grappling down in the park with a few friends, which is pretty sweet. And just one of those things. Like it was great because it's in the park. There's sun. There's good weather. There's good people. There's playing some music while we're rolling as well. It's like easy couple hours go by without even thinking about it. And and it's just one of those things. You just come home. You're just about to jump in the shower. You look at your face in the mirror. You're like, what's this? Where did this come from? I don't even know what it is. Don't even know what happened. Don't even know. Like, was it because I was basing out on my head at one point? Was it because somebody just like scratched me or something? It's like, don't even know what happened.
Love it.
And so I got this nice little line going down.
There we go.
The side of my head, and it just made me think of the Lion King, innit? Scar.
Too right, man. I like it. It's probably decent scar, man.
It is a decent size. I don't know. It'll probably go away after a few days. It's one of those like surface level scratches, but it was just it's just like I don't know where it came from, and that's the beauty of jits, right?
That's the one. Like, I'm hurting. I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Something always hurting.
Yeah, man, it's wicked. It's like because you've been training for a bit with TJ, right? Mm-hmm. Like you guys have got back into it. So when I was home last week, I rolled with Shad for the first time, and then this week it was with a few friends, and it was just kind of like, oh, we're going to be meeting in the park and let's just do it. Like wicked. And so that's twice I've rolled basically since lockdown started and then since before. So for me, it just felt like I was doing something new all over again. Yeah. And then I think I told you last week as well, where it felt like it's like a movie that you've seen a while ago and you remember enjoying, but you don't remember the scenes, you don't remember the bits, you don't remember the dialogue. And while you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this bit. And then the next scene comes like, oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, and then he says this, and then it just pieces itself together, because that's the thing with the techniques or with the drilling or what's supposed to happen next. So I was just like, oh, I've done the first bit. Oh, I don't know what to do with the second bit. Oh, I've just had my guard past it. Oh, now I'm in side control. And it's like, oh, okay, well now I get to work on recovering my guard. And it's like, okay, I've got to try and recover my guard. Oh, I forgot to do this bit. Oh, this, but was good because the flow started coming back about halfway through and just started feeling like, oh yeah, this is what grappling is all over again. And it was good fun, man. It was good fun to do it again. And just came home because it was like an hour walk away as well.
Nice.
So which was nice, is like in the weather that we had. So hour walk there, train, hour walk back, and it was just like spent at the end of the day basically. Just like got some good munch in and just basically just lay there on the couch, just having a conversation with my housemate, just not moving. It's pretty sick.
Love it, man. Love it. That sounds like a productive park jitsu session, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was just exactly. It was good. It was just good. It was just like, it was almost like if somebody said drill, like you want to do drilling, I would have been like, nah, I've got nothing to drill. I just need to get back into it and just see what I remember and see what I forget. Yeah. And then it just all came together that way. So yeah, it was good. It was good to do that, man. Really good to be that physical. Really good to be with people. Get some hugging going on.
Yeah. None of that social distancing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's not necessary now. So so it was it was good.
That's pretty sweet, man. That's pretty sweet. Well, what did you find that you you remembered? What was the go-to from jiu-jitsu? Whether it be like, I assume there wasn't much like standing up. Was it more kind of from the knees?
Yeah, it's more like so there was enough mats, but we had four, basically a square of four. But I would just basically, yeah, we started low, but I would just like stand up because try and work my standing pass game.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's the thing that I remember, just that sequence of like standing pass, get into side control, work the head and arm, and then try and execute that. Basically the
Silvio classics.
exactly, Sylvie classics, the Sylvie specials.
The
And
greatest hits.
yeah. Could you imagine? That's a great one. It's like there's a soundtrack for each one of these devastating chokeholds. You know, it's like what would be the soundtrack for the head and arm? Is like "Protect Your Neck" by Wu-Tang Clan.
That's wicked. That's the one.
That's exactly that's what it's going to be. So that'd be like that's the first thing that I think of. But then whatever like, but there wasn't. But I just got into a bit more of a flow with it in terms of, what am I actually doing? And for like overall, because people have like different games and like everybody was a higher level than me as well. And so it's like, all right, what are they doing? And what can I do to counter that? And then also, what can I do to impose myself a little bit more as well? So yeah, it was just basically a lot of it was just piecing stuff together as well. So the first thing I was thinking about was pass the guard, try and work the head and arm from side control, and then other than that, it was just bits and pieces where I found myself as like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to do this to recover the guard from this position, or if I'm at the bottom, then okay, they're standing up, like try a kiss the dragon, try a if they kneel down again, like, okay, what can I do from butterfly? So like just little bits and pieces basically. And what's cool about it is just realizing that there's probably like 20 or 30 things that I tried. And that's a lot of things, but it's just being able to finish them off. So it's like the sequences that come from that. So the cool thing is there's lots sitting in there, but I just need enough practice and enough training time to actually put it all together so that it's actually effective. And that's what started happening as we started to go along. It's like, oh, okay, from this bit, I've just got to that bit. I forgot the rest of it. Oh, the next bit is this. So the next time it happened, moved on to that. So yeah, it was just cool, man. It was just good to engage the brain like that. Good to be around some people. Good to just be physical like that again, man.
Sounds fun, man. Sounds like the flow. The flow. Yeah. Like, what was it like? Kind of handling another person's weight again. You know, when like kind of the first time, like I find that, for instance, if I'm inside control on somebody right now, I feel a little bit. You know, if you don't want to put too much weight into the person and you want to almost like kind of just flow with it. But likewise, when somebody's laying on top of you, or someone's got your back, or someone's on your mount, I usually find that the first time that happens again, you're just a bit like, oh shit, like kind of this is a bit intense, and you have to almost use a bit of strength. Whereas you want to use technique and you want to kind of be calm, have your wherewithals. Did it kind of push you into that fight or flight kind of panic, or did you find yourself kind of just being calm in the position and just like flowing with it?
Yeah, it was all right actually. No, it's good. Let me think about that for a second. Were there a couple of times? I think okay, so there were times with like the leg lock game. So a couple of the guys, they're trying it, and they're pretty new at doing it as well. But I've got like pretty much zero familiarity with it. Like, so the times that we have trained in the past is like months and months ago, and it was like a one-off type thing, and didn't really get a chance to think about it in more detail and do it some more. But so the guys were trying that stuff, and I was like, kind of, I wouldn't even call it deer. It wasn't even like deer in headlights. It was just more like, okay, I have no idea what's going on here. Like I'm in a saddle position, but I mean, I don't know how I got here. I don't know where this is about to go, and just kind of really being alert to the tap as well. Is like if I do feel the heel hook coming on, just be smart about it. Don't try and tough it out or anything like that. It was more just extra awareness as opposed to freaking out. I don't tend to freak out. I just tend to try and be as cerebral about it as possible. Just like try and stay calm and just work from there, unless it's like super uncomfortable, because that's when your brain's like, no time to be calm, man. Just fucking.
That's
But
the one, man.
yeah, exactly. So like there, yeah, with the leg lock stuff, is more like a bit more hyper awareness with being mounted and having my back taken. It was just trying to work the usual defenses and trying to stay on top of that kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, it was good to do that. Really good to feel out all those different positions again, whether I was in a good position or whether I was in a bad position, but especially the bad ones, because I feel like the first thing I really want to make sure I got going is being able to defend myself in precarious positions.
Good shout, man. Good shout. Yeah. That's the like good offense is a good defense, right? Just kind of make sure you're safe, and then play from there. Yeah, man. I look forward to it. I look forward to just like getting back to Rays or getting back to just kind of driving down one week and just rolling with you guys. That'd be really fun.
Completely.
Yeah, but definitely. TJ's been talking about it loads. Come down, get Sylvia involved.
That'd be great, man.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome. Just do a full on hell session in the park. And just like finish off with some like just do some laps. That's Sylvia. I can imagine just being lunge the whole park now.
Yeah, exactly, man. Lunge the whole park. Yeah, that's not enough. Here's some kettlebells. Yeah, that's not enough. Put Umar on your back.
Yeah. I mean, there were those games we used to play like where it was if you there's like knee taps, right? It was like knee taps.
Yes. Yeah.
You start with knee taps and start with like toe touches or whatever, or like arm drags or something. And then if you lost, you had to carry your counterpart like around the mat or like squat with them 10 times. I'd always feel bad for the person I was with. I was like, if I was paired with somebody, I was like, I'm really heavy. I'm sorry, I'm really heavy. I almost want to lose this, so I can like I'll just squat you. It's okay. Don't worry. Like putting me on their back and they're just like, you can see the person just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to bend my legs right now because they won't straighten afterwards. They will just bend and continue bending into the ground.
That's funny, man. That's why it always ends up being you and Sam, right? It's like Sam's strong enough to hang it. Yeah, exactly. Even though he's still like a 15 to 20, probably like a 20 kilo difference still there. He's like, he could take it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But to be honest, I'm coming down in weight. I've been kind of with Nick. I've been almost like staying at. I think I started with him. I was at 104, tipping 104, 105, and now I'm like solidly been 102 for the last like 4 weeks, four or so weeks, and then kind of holding it. And I'm sure that like this next week we'll be into the 101s. I've been into the 101s a few times actually. I've been 101.9, but 101.8, but now I'll be tipping down, hopefully holding the 101s, just really slowly doing it, slowly doing it. Whereas like kind of strength is actually going the other way. It's going up in a few movements. So like just getting leaner, slowly just dropping off the shit you don't need. Man, come back and be ready. Be ready.
Yeah, get ready to hit the ground.
Double digits is a scary place, man, for me. It's just like I spent so long in triple digits being like, what the fuck is this double digit bullshit? Like 99? What do you mean 99? Look at your scale.
I missed the one.
yeah. That's my security. That's my comfort. No, I'm just a 2. Like I'm just a 2-digit guy. It's scary.
I'm just 2 digits. It's like it's a piece of me literally gone missing right there. How sustainable is double digits for you? How good do you feel? How comfortable do you feel?
To be honest, the last time I was at double digits was when I did my photo shoot with UP, and that was 2017. I got down to 97, and it didn't last because obviously I was like just like didn't rebound, but I just ate afterwards. I ate properly, kind of like I think I went to my family's house afterwards, and I came home. I came home the weekend off, and it was like 3 days off. Went back at like 103, and then you know what? I'm not actually. People will do this with photo shoots, isn't it? Like you hear it, like they'll go into a photo shoot and they'll lose crazy amounts of weight, and then they'll just rebound up and go up. Like I heard once, one of my old managers gained like 17 kilos. I think it's 17 kilos that he gained after he had a photo shoot. But to credit to the guy, he got diced. He got, I think he gained 17 kilos in about a week. About a week.
No way.
Yeah. Isn't that bonkers? Like I remember this guy being like ultra militant on his diet. And just to his credit, like he looked amazing, like super diced, super like anatomy chart, like he was super diced. But then just the rebound afterwards was like, oh goddamn, are you the same person? Like do I recognize you? But yeah, that's one thing I'm pretty happy about is that even from that, which was 3 years ago, obviously training like a more like a bodybuilder-ish like training style. I didn't put loads of weight back on. Like the heaviest I've been since then, I've been like 107, 107, and even that's like that's I've eaten a lot to get to 107. You know what I mean? I think I naturally feel pretty good around 103, 104. But now, yeah,
Nice.
man, bringing it down. Hopefully, just create a new baseline. Could be
Yeah, yeah.
optimal at sub 100.
Yeah, wicked. That's you know what, it's got me thinking about the trade-off of being that lean. So because everybody's like, sees the cover model, sees you
Mm,
look a certain way where you're super chiseled, and like, yeah, it's a beautiful look. It's like it
mm,
shows you what the human body is capable of looking like, but not just what that looks like is, what it's just basically capable of overall, like in terms of physique, in terms of physical capacity. But then there's clearly a trade-off because there's the video that I think one of your friends put up where you guys are training in the gym, and I watched it, and she was talking about basically having people who help you level up around you.
Yeah, oh yeah,
And
Emily, yeah.
yeah, and that's it. And so she put that video up, and you reposting your stories. I had a look at it, and and I was just like, I was inspired by it because you're doing these front squats and you're just grunting your way through. You're just like, ah, ah. I was like, damn, bro, that's giving me a charge. By watching this, that's going to make me go hard for the next round, next time I train. But you said you had nothing left for legs when you were
Yeah, yeah,
dieting
yeah.
down like that, and so the question for me is like being able to get that shredded. How sustainable is it? What kind of impact does it have on you mentally, not just
Mm,
physically?
to be honest, man, I that dieting period was
Mm,
coupled. You've got to take into account the whole picture, right? Like this, it's
mm,
really interesting. Like the last week of Jordan Shadow's course, I just finished it. We'll touch on that later because it was
mm.
epic, man. The whole thing was just epic.
Can't wait to start
Um,
myself.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot about
Yeah,
it.
respect to you for hooking me up.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So what was I going to say? Yeah, taking the person's whole life into account, right? And at the time, I was working with UP. I was doing all the hours, trying to do all the hours, feeling the stress of like wanting to perform for this company, move up in the company, earn a good wage, like just spinning all those plates, living out for the first time, everything, right? So stress level is generally quite high, and then
Mm,
you put on top of that like restricted eating, put on top of that like here's a date, you've got to nail this date, you're gonna get a tan for this date, you got to freaking shave everything for this date, and like
yeah.
show up looking right. There's a bit of sweats that come along, especially from a person who's been 180 kilos, right? Like there's
Wow.
a little bit of like body kind of like, are we going to be ready? Like, obviously, you can take your top off, but sometimes you're just a little bit like, I don't know if I'm in good shape or not. That kind of plays in your mind a little bit. So rolling all those things in, and then not because you're not on the great amount of calories. Sometimes sleep is a little bit up and down. Then you roll it into the big ball, and you're just like, oh shit. You end up kind of sometimes scraping by. And your question is definitely legit because I don't think like it depends. It depends on the goal, right? So like, is it optimal for somebody who has to go and perform in like say a jiu-jitsu setting or like MMA, boxing, all this kind of stuff? Like, is it optimal for you to be diced for that? Don't think so. Like,
Mm,
I think you need like just all your bodily functions to be at that homeostasis where everything's just chill, everything's happy, your fluid levels are good, your mineral levels are good, your stress levels are fairly minimal, you've tapered your training off until the day. But I think in that setting where it's like you got to look a certain way and you show up and you've got to kind of be conditioned. Like it's often said, right? People when bodybuilders are on stage, they look amazing, but they actually feel like shit, and
mm,
that's yeah, it's fine for the stage because no one's trying to take your head off. But if you were in a boxing ring, if you were in an MMA cage, like I wouldn't want to be that way. No way,
mm,
no way. Yeah, yeah. That's sometimes you look at like DC, right? DC's body
mm.
shape, and he's
Yeah.
like for people who don't know Daniel Cormier. Um, he's a big guy. Like to the average world, he's fat.
Yeah.
He's just a big chunky guy, and but he performs like an animal. Like he performs
Yeah.
like you wouldn't believe, and it's like a credit. Like, if he lost the weight, if he was like chisel jawed and like totally six packed all the way to his pelvis, like, would that actually help him, or would it actually be a hindrance because he performs so well being like what we call overweight? But he's not. He's just a beast.
Yeah, that's his body shape and size, right? He's stacked like that. It's because the interesting thing is having the view that that is the pinnacle of health, like to be able to look like that. But then the description there is you're on stage. If you're gonna do it to that level, you actually feel like total shit. It's just the look is gone beyond what it is to be actually healthy internally, right? And then if what kind of play do you think there is with that? So you, for example, getting to 97 and feeling like the shred, and then just a week later you're back up to like 101, 102. Is like how much room do you think there is for that being sustainable? Is it like it's only sustainable for like literally that moment, for that day, for the shoot, or is it that there's a period that it can be sustained for, or do you need is it a 1% to 5% kind of give either way in terms of how much weight you want to have on you, or is it more than that? Is it 10%, like that range where you feel comfortable to be able to sustain that? Like what is it for you personally? And what is it for you personally?
So I think it's on the day. I mean, I'm no expert in this, right? It's only the one and only to this date photo shoot I've ever done. Right? I've obviously taken clients through them and everything else, but that's the only one that I've done, right? And I'd say that for that day, you'd almost want to push it as far as you could push it, because obviously the goal is to have a photograph that you can look back on and be like, okay, this is what I achieved last time, and you want that photograph to be the best that you could go for. Now, is it sustainable? To be honest, I think where I got to, I could have sustained it for a little bit longer and proven like I think I dieted down from when I started at UP. I was like 120 odd kilos, and I got down. This is over the course of a couple of months. But when I actually started my like prep, I think I was about 114, 115 kilos. So lost that much of weight, and thus that much amount of weight. But then when I rebounded back up again, I've only gone up 5 kilos, like 6 kilos, and it shows that like I'm actually happier being closest at 97 than I'm close to the 114. And that probably just shows that it is probably quite sustainable, if I'm honest. And then like the things that I mentioned earlier in terms of dealing with the stress of work, getting used to the pace of London, getting used to living out, getting used to being away from family, all those stresses start to become normal again. So your baseline of stress kind of comes down, you're dealing with it better, and you're not freaked out. Like I remember I used the jiu-jitsu term earlier, like, oh, were you a bit like scared almost when somebody kind of jumps on top of you and mounts you or side control? You're not, because you're like, I've been here before. Like I've gotten, it's become normal now. So I think the longer you hold it, you can actually maintain it, and that's my goal now, is like this trickling down effect, rather than kind of crashing down looking to lose like 1 or like 0.8% of my body weight per week. I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to lose 0.1% or 0.2% across like a month. I want to really slowly taper it down, and that means that when I get down from 103, which I was holding quite comfortably like 5 weeks ago, to 102, my body's not freaked out. There's no like, oh my god, this is extreme. Like that just makes it super maintainable, and then I can then decide like what I want to do, because it's not freaking me out to be here. I'm not like counting every single calorie. I mean, I do know what I'm eating, but it's not like, it's just not a stress. You know what I mean? That's what I think people. If it's like a full gung-ho effort, then yeah, go down, do it, be there, and push yourself for that. Obviously, make sure you're healthy enough to do that. But then when you want to come back up again, just be aware, don't blow the doors off, because like that becomes super demoralizing. Right? Unless you're the right kind of mindset, it's hard to come back from that. But I think you'll find that if you can go down and then be chill with being down, you can sustain a fairly lean physique all the time. And like personally, I think that's best for health. That's best for everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's what I hear as well, is like the ability to, if you're doing it fast, you're going to rebound fast. But if you're doing it slow, like just what you described there, is like doing it in that casual pace, making it work week on week, month on month, as opposed to day to day, hour to hour, just really focusing on everything you're doing, then your ability to maintain that is a lot higher, because you've done several things over that slow period of time. That's become your new lifestyle. Basically, over a slow period of time, it's become more of a habit to be able to get to that, to be able to sustain that. And then, yeah, physiologically, your body's just able to respond to that and actually hold on to it, because it understands the new homeostasis that you're at.
Yeah. And if you're like breaking yourself to get down, then you've got to realize that like some people will do like 30,000 steps a day to try and burn body fat, and they're eating 900 calories a day, and they're sleeping very little because they have to get up and they have to work out or whatever. Do you realize that like you're a product of what you do, right? And if you can't continue to do those things, then you will just go up in weight. So then when that happens, it's like it freaks people out. But really, it's a case of do the least and get the most, right? Like if you're playing this card, I want to rinse this card for everything it's worth, and not have me play all my cards at one time and then just go fall what's the word, fall kind of to all the things I now need to do to keep up this progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. I like that. Do the least to get the most. Just minimum effective dose.
There you go. Yeah, man. Especially when it's your health concern, right? Like you don't want to just break yourself. And then this is a lot of the world. I think they don't really understand sometimes. It's if you're under stress anyway, and you think you're under stress, then adopting more stress is something that you need to be very, very cautious about doing. And I think if you're somebody who is under a lot of stress and doesn't deal with the stress you're currently under, it's not going to last, man. It's not going to last. You're just inviting on the straw that's going to break the camel's back, right? Like you're just beckoning it forward. Whereas if you're somebody who can kind of like go through the process, appreciate the little bits, appreciate the fact that some days your weight's going to go down, some days it's not going to go down, and then be chill about it. Obviously, still stick to the process. You're going to be able to get down and feel comfortable at that low weight, and not feel like overburdened by a scale weight, not feel overburdened by lack of calories. Sometimes you take it in your stride, right? Because you've dealt with the stress.
Yeah, big time. And yeah, you, like you said, you've been there, you've done that, you've done it in the smart, controlled way where it's become the new lifestyle. It's easy for you to hold it. And then I think there's also something to be said for being okay with a 5% bounce back, is like, this is your maintenance range, as opposed to, I need to stay at, in your case, I need to stay at 97 kilos. It's like, no, it's fine. It's fine if you go up to 100. It's fine if you go up to 101. It's just because you're still good. You still feel good at that category, at that weight. And it's a lot more sustainable, I think, to think of it in terms of ranges as opposed to being a weight as well. Because I think another thing you need to consider is like, average human being eats about 3 to 4 pounds of food every single day. It's like, that's nearly 2 kilos worth of food. And, the amount of water you got to drink, you wake up in the morning, you're lighter than when you go to bed at night. So there's a 2 kilo range that could happen in just a day, let alone over the course of a week or a month. And so if you're going to be unhappy and unsatisfied about being a little bit heavier than what your goal weight is, then you're always going to be unhappy, because it's by that definition, because you're always going to be going up and down in weight on a given day. And like, I can say it as well. Like, I came back from my parents last week, just feeling chubs.
Yeah.
I put myself on the scale. I was the heaviest I'd been in a long time. I was 77.9 kilos, right?
And your parents do that to you.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really blame them for it entirely, because like, I'm 2 kilos. So when I started when I started training again, like just getting at least twice a week consistent training under my belt in terms of strength work, I was like 73. I was in like, I would wake up, and some days I would wake up and I was like 71.6 or something like that. So, I mean, yeah, so it's a big difference. So what I ended up doing first was like, I mean, you saw the journey as well, but like I was putting on muscle, but I was shedding a lot of fat at the same time. And then so in the space of 3 months, I just basically had dropped like a kilo and a bit, because I was in a calorie deficit. I mostly got rid of fat first, but I was still packing on some muscle. And then since the like lockdown period, I feel like I'm more, I'm definitely fuller in terms of like I've just got more muscle, like going into lockdown. So I was started to hover around waking up at 74ish, and but yeah, just with the extra little bit of being sedentary during lockdown, then the combination of like going to my parents' place for a week and stuff like that. I've noticed that my weight has gone up, and yet like now I'm waking up at about 76 roughly. And so, but I'm feeling good, right? I'm feeling decent. I feel like, okay, I can still redress that fat to muscle mass balance, but the initial thought is like, oh shit, I'm getting a bit heavy. But then I started thinking, actually, if I just look at my physique, and if I look at the level of fat that I've got in my body, is like, it's no worse than it's not bad, basically. Let's put it that way. It's not something that I can't handle. And so I was like, okay, this is interesting. So I'm actually getting bigger, but the leanness is still there as well, and I can get myself leaner if I have to. If I feel like it's necessary. So that's why it's important to think of a range, because if I start thinking, fuck, I'm 76 now, or 76.1 or whatever it is, and I'm used to being around 74 and still feeling good at that, that's why the number on the scale doesn't matter completely, because there's other things you need to judge it by. And the other thing is, like, how do you actually feel? It's like, oh, I actually feel pretty decent. I actually feel pretty good. I feel like I've got energy. I feel like my fitness has improved during lockdown. I've at least maintained strength and muscle mass during this period. So, things ain't bad. So think of it as a range, as opposed to think of it as just that one number that you got to stick at, right?
That's a great shout, man. That's a total great shout. I think a lot of people could definitely benefit from that, because it's that fixation, right? But fixation comes from this industry, which is so like, if you're not this, then you're shit. If you're not like right on the money, then you ain't nothing. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we all have different lives. We all have different kind of, everyone's normal is different, right? So it's like, just figure out what's.
You're talking about being normal at 103. I'm talking about being normal at 75 kilos.
There you go.
Clearly, there's a difference between people.
How tall are you, G? Remind me again.
180 centimeters, so just 5'11" and a bit.
5'11".
Yeah.
5'11". Okay, yeah. So you and Bilal are like a similar weight, but he's 5'7", 5'8". He's shorter than you are.
Yeah. He definitely looks stocky.
Yeah, he is. He's like he's a little runt, man. This guy's like stocky and strong. He's it's hilarious. Like, we had this. This is how we celebrate Eid, right? So, we went over to Bilal's house in the morning. We had our festivities there, and in the evening, my mum cooked, and they all came to our place. And in the evening, we ended up going out into my like square of garden. My mum just paved it last year. And it's like it's almost like square of a boxing ring, but it's like it has a tiny angle, like not drastic. Like if you ran down it, you wouldn't notice that you're on a slight decline. And we ended up having like a body spa, which is not like a therapeutic treatment before you get before you kind of think it is. It's like basically boxing, but you can only hit the body, right?
Yeah.
So
with an R on the end of spa.
There you go. Yeah. So it was like me and Bilal and his younger brother Amar, and it's so interesting looking at the different body shapes. Like, I'm obviously a lot taller than Bilal. I'm a lot longer. My arms are like crazy monkey arms, and Bilal's obviously a lot shorter. So his technique based on his stature is super like bursty, he's super quick. And when he gets to the inside, he's just like, with these like machine gun hands. But we're on the outside, like me and Amara are slightly taller and like rangy, trying to reach our way in, whereas he's just like diving in because he's smaller. It's yeah, man. Nothing's good, nothing's bad. It's all just how you use it, right? That's the take home there.
That's it. Exactly, man.
Fun, man.
Exactly.
Fun.
That's just.
Well, I say you burn off your Eid day food. You just go out in the garden and you beat the crap out of each other. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's it. Yesterday was like that for us. It's just like, hey, just beat the crap out of each other and just. My whoop told me, because I've got the strap now as well.
Oh, nice.
It said in that 2 hours it was like 1,100 calories burnt. And I was like, damn.
Solid.
And go on.
Go on.
Oh, it was just the amount of water that got drunk yesterday was off the hees. So in that 2 hours, I'd put a 2-liter bottle of water in the fridge before, like a couple hours before we left. Got there, down the whole 2 liters. On the way back home, picked up because it's just like you're feeling spent and you've got an hour to walk home. Went to Sainsbury's, picked up the strawberry flavored Volvic water.
Yeah,
so they've got like a tiny exactly. So they got like a tiny bit of sugar in there. So I think about 10 grams sugar, just like keep you going a bit, and liquid hydration as well. That was 750 mils. So just from that session, that's basically. I think one of my buddies had a little bit of water from my bottle, so it was like 2.5 liters basically just from that. I'd already had like a liter before I'd left, at least, right? I always down about a pint of water when I wake up in the morning. And then when we were eating dinner, I just had a 2-liter bottle there for about 2 hours that I was just sipping. I was chugging away. Chugging away is at least 4 liters. And on top of this, I've had a shake before I've gone to train as well. So
damn.
And so I'm saying, like, I'm 76.1 when I woke up yesterday. And when I came back, bearing in mind I had the shake before I left, I've probably had like 3 liters of water at least during the course of the day by this point. And I was getting into the shower, and naturally you put on weight as the day goes on. I was 75.6, so I was half a kilo down. So there's basically like half a kilo of water that was still missing from my body that I needed to just get myself back up to a level. I was like, holy shit, man. That's one thing, is when you're training, you got to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water, man.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. That's probably the first thing you notice when you start doing jiu-jitsu is like, if you don't have any water on hand, good luck. Good luck. Like, that is, or just any kind of like physical. I'm sure boxing is similar. But I feel like you use everything, like in a wrestling / jiu-jitsu, no gi, doesn't really matter setting, right? Everything is being used, like just maximally. I remember going down to train with Silviu before he had his first Polaris, and it was the end of Ramadan that year, so it was like still, I think we had like 4 days left or 3 days left, and we'd be training with him. I'd just be like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Why am I training jiu-jitsu while I've been fasting for the last like 15 hours, feeling absolutely just ruined. But knowing that you've got like another 4 hours to go until you get to have any water, that's hard. That's super hard. But yeah, get through it somehow, right? Sylvia just motivates you through it.
Yeah, man, he pushes you through. It's insane. I think because also is definitely at the forefront of my mind, because I've been looking up. So just been doing some hydration research for the lessons I'm including in my online program, and it's just there's some estimates. Is like, if it's some of the stuff they've done on trained individuals is if you're exercising in moderate heat, so like 22 degrees centigrade, and you're going for I think it's a cycle ride or something like that. It is a cycle ride. They did it for different categories, but the one that's like one I remembered was per hour, you're going to be losing 1.4 liters of water if you're going for a cycle, and in about 22 degrees temperature, basically outdoors ambient temperature. Like, that's a lot, man. That's a lot of water to lose. Because if you consider, there's a whole formula that you can use to get a rough estimate of how much water you should be drinking each day. So the whole thing about 2 liters drink at least 2 liters a day. It's like, okay, it's a great general guideline, but it's completely like, again, because of the fact that our weight is different, you're probably going to need to literally on a baseline level drink at least 3.5 liters of water a day, whereas me, I need at least 2.5 liters. And then if I'm training like I did yesterday, I'm gonna have to stick another 2 liters on top of that. So there's so it's just, and what's interesting is, again, having delved into that a little bit, when there's like surveys done of people, is like they don't know how much they need to be drinking for good hydration. Most people don't. And a lot of, like, at least 23% of people are getting hydration from like soda drinks and stuff like that. So fizzy drinks, Coke, all that kind of shit. So people are hydrating, but then obviously getting meaningless calories into their system at the same time. That's a fifth of people, basically. A fifth to a quarter of people are doing that. And then on top of that, they just don't know what is good hydration for them in terms of how much they should be drinking. Like, it's madness. So I was like, this is going to be an important thing to include. It's that's just, crazy,
That's really interesting. I bet your clients really do value and benefit from that, because that stuff, as much as you think it should be general knowledge, it's just not. It's just not people are just not aware of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, again, at least 2 liters of water is like, a lot of people kind of know about that, but it's like, okay, let's be a bit more specific. Let's take into account who you actually are and how active you are, and make sure you're getting enough water for that. And I mean, it's unequivocal for me, because with the Whoop, for example, every time I've included in the journal, when it asks you, did you sufficiently hydrate yesterday? And I've got enough basically data points along the way for a yes and a no. So days where I'm like, okay, you know what, I didn't hydrate enough, and then other days where I did. And it says every time you've hydrated well, your HRV has gone up by 25%. That's insane, right?
Crazy,
That's not just like statistically significant. That is huge. So that's how important it is, because I've noticed as well, it's affecting my recovery. If I don't sleep, if I don't hydrate well, I don't sleep as well as I normally do. My resting heart rate turns up higher, and my HRV turns up higher, because if you're not hydrated, your blood volume is thicker, and so your blood your heart has to pump harder to get that shit around. So it's madness. 25%. I was like,
you sure you're not like a fish?
Exactly.
That's just a gill. That's a gill. It's not actually a scar. It's
that's a gill that's trying to come out. Yeah, it's trying to come out.
What has that much of an effect on you, man? Why wouldn't it, right? I mean, how much of our body is water? It's ridiculous to think that it wouldn't have that much of an effect.
Well, it's like 60% of your weight is water. But if you're going by weight, 60% of your body weight is water. So it's like, all right, if I'm 75 kilos, it's like 42 liters of water. 42 liters. That's how much liquid is in my body. And then there's like health experts that they argue, movement experts, some of them argue that, your body is just basically a water pumping machine. Is you have to move so you can pump water around your system, otherwise you become stagnant because you're not pumping water around your system. They're like, there's an argument there that you're basically just a machine that is pumping water around. that's
not a bad shout, eh?
Yeah,
it's like we see it with people with what is it, varicose veins, and blood pooling, and like fluid pooling in their feet and their ankles and their calves and their lower body specifically, right? And that's usually the fact that the pumps that are in the calves just don't work effectively, right? You're not actually getting the circulation through the body, and all that just comes down to movement, right?
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to movement for sure. And
damn,
yeah, it's crazy. When you think of it like that, you just go, all right, well, I better move.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just stagnant otherwise. Blood, liquid just pools in areas where it's not supposed to. If it's just pooling, if you're not getting it flowing around, you're not getting nutrients anywhere. You're not getting, when I heard that, is mad, especially if you see a dissection as well of the human body. You just go, oh shit, yeah, this is just a sack of fluid. Yeah, that's just what you're seeing. Yeah, it's just like you're seeing these people just holding muscles, and they're holding muscles and organs and like lungs and brains and shit. And you're just like, all I'm looking at is just stuff that's encased in fluid, you know, and it is fluid inside it. Like most of your muscle is fluid, basically.
That's nuts, man. That is crazy. Yeah. And then you look at like what's I'm gonna try and get into this. So like hydraulic systems. This is something that Jordan Shallow kind of got into in the course, and it was talking about how when you have fluid and blood in a muscle, the ability for you to be able to stretch the muscle is greater because the pressure within the muscle is higher, right? Because you actually have volume within the muscle, creating more surface area within the muscle, like pushing out on the muscle. So when you actually stretch it, you've got more of a moment within the muscle to actually exact on. Whereas if the muscle is flatter, it's got less fluid in there. When you're stretching the muscle, it's more flaccid. It kind of runs in a straight line versus actually running almost like a convex, yeah. And that's obviously going to be made greater by you actually having hydration in your body. So, or actually having like a pump, for instance. So people go to the gym and say, oh, I can't get a pump. It's like, well, are you actually hydrated? It's like, does your body even have the baseline functions that it needs to run in place? And this is like feeds back into what you were saying about HRV, right? So if you're hydrating firstly, then you're sleeping better. You're sleeping better. Your body actually is doing what it needs to do at just a functioning level, and then you go into a gym and you can perform way better. Whereas like you go into the gym, people are just constantly putting I don't want to kind of blame people, but it's just like kind of put more of your efforts into understanding the body as a functioning thing rather than kind of using it as a tool to appease what we want on like a surface level, right? So I want abs. So how do you sleep? It's like, I don't care about that. I want abs. Like, give me abs. where are the abs at? So people just, I've noticed this to clients, and I'm sure you do the same as well. Is like you'll start talking about the real shit, and people will just kind of like, oh, so when are we training? It's like, this is training. Like, let's PR on like your hydration today. Like, did you PR on your sleep? Did your HRV kind of float around nowhere? Well, then that gym session is going to be so much less effective because these other things that are going to support that massively are just non-existent, right? The body just doesn't know how to do them.
That's it. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
We say with TJ, you know, get the basics and people will be more optimal. It's not just about the training, like I say, it's all the other stuff. It's like, if it is just about the training, then well, let's look at how you're going to optimize your training so you do it really well, you get the result you want. Then we need to talk about sleep. Then we need to talk about your stress resilience and your buoyancy, and we need to talk about your nutrition and hydration. Clearly, you know, that's a big part of it now too. So yeah, you just you're not looking at one piece of the puzzle. You got to be looking at all the other areas where you can get the biggest bang for your buck.
That's I want to kind of lead back into Jordan's course, right? So I've finished all 16 weeks now, and you're about to start. And obviously, I don't know the courses that you've been on in the past, but some of the stuff that I've done and some of the experiences I've had working away in London, working at UP, working at different gyms. This course is epic, man. It's absolutely epic. Like the way I kind of the way I envision it is like every week it's like a hurdle race, right? So a hurdle race, not a hurdle race, a relay race, right? A relay race whereby you've got, you know, that intersection where somebody's about to pass. You see your guy running up to you, about to pass you the baton, and then you're able to take off, right? So it's that intersection. That's how I'm thinking about the course. So first like I think 4 weeks, or maybe more than 4 weeks, you get into some anatomy stuff, and then you just kind of get a bit engrossed into the body, the functions and the actions or whatnot. And then it kind of goes into testing, and then you get just basically a footing, and you almost like you're seeing that guy, you're seeing your partner running up behind you. So, okay, I need to start jogging now. You start moving. And then you get into kind of like the muscle training of like certain body parts, like length and ranges and mid ranges and whatever. And then like getting into the 3 big movements. So like he covers like squats and deadlifts and bench press, and like you're like the hurdle guy, like kind of running a bit more, and like you're starting to break into your stride because you know he's getting closer. And then you've got like the last couple of bits, or like mishmashing the order a little bit, but like you have the integration into a skill, right? So like kind of how you're going to train your quads, how you're going to train your hamstrings and your glutes and all the other muscles of the body, the core, touches on breathing a little bit, and how you're going to integrate all of those individual components into these other exercises, right? And then he goes into things like history taking or whatever. But the way I'm kind of envisioning it is like you see the partner of yours who has the baton kind of running up behind you, you slowly start gathering momentum, and then by the time the course finishes, you just like, you have that baton in your hand, you're just like fucking running as hard as you can, because it's like I've got the shit, I've got the goals, like let's go and spread it, let's go and give it everyone. That's yeah, genuinely, because it just gives you that that confidence, right? That confidence that you've been through a system that's fully been thought of by the instructor across a 16-week period, which is a long period, right? I don't know, you can speak on this yourself too as well, like how the duration of courses that you've run in the past. Sometimes they're quite dense, like you have hours and hours and hours of study one day, whereas this is just 1 hour a week. You go away, you get to kind of digest it, fully learn it, and like I've taken legit 50,000 words worth of notes just on like everything, like try to just kind of put his words down, put my thoughts on the back end of it, and then like add bits in, oh, this fits in with this fits in with this, and I feel like I have that fully encapsulated thing of his like Prescript level 1 product that I can go and kind of integrate into my service as a PT. And yeah, it just gives you a lot of confidence. It gives you a lot of confidence to kind of to say that I know personally that I was studying his stuff, I'd say 3-4 years ago, where I was like, okay, I like this, I like the way he's talking about this kind of stuff, but didn't really know the framework within which to apply it all. Like, or when do I do now I know a stability exercise, or when do I want to prioritize more an exercise of strength, and how do I course like this across a training block, and for which client, like is it appropriate, is it as appropriate for a client of mine who's on his feet 24/7 versus a client of mine who sits at a desk 24/7? Like, how do I make that differentiation? But literally touching on all of those points across the 16 weeks gives you that confidence to just run as hard as you want after it, because you feel like as long as you pay attention, as long as you kind of take the notes and stuff, you just feel much more secure in how you're delivering something to somebody else. And that, I think, is, as a PT who, all I care about, like the monetary reward, I feel like will come. I feel like the whatever notoriety or whatever that stuff will, I don't what it'll come, right? But the product exchange of services for time, that has to be ace. That has to be perfect. Like, and this is where like that confidence is sky high, man. Because yeah, he just really got into it and polished the product, made it super effective, man.
That's beautiful, man. You're absolutely right. Where it's got to be substance first and foremost. You got to have that about you. You got to like you got to know that what you're doing. You got to know that you can deliver results, and you got to be able to deliver results. There's a lot of style over substance these days, and but it's just that doesn't last, because you get found out pretty quickly. It's like, not that it's the sinister thing. It's just people just end up getting the wrong end of the stick. They think you've got to do some fancy shit on Instagram or something like that, and really. Actually, if you just pay attention to what you do and how well you do it, then things just get better and better and better as a result from that. So in the terms of the courses, that's what was interesting to me about Prescript as well, is like, once a week lectures, kind of like, doing it. He's calling it semesters and everything. Like, yeah, it's like being at uni in a way, right? It's just 1 hour a week. But on top of that is the Q&As. You got to take your notes, you got to think about it, and then you're going to get tested on it a little bit as well, right? And like each quarter of the semester. So that's intriguing, because I kind of want to study in that structured way, and everything I've done in the past has been weekend courses essentially. So it's it's tricky to assimilate if that way, but this way seems it's just breaking the trend. It's I haven't come across anything else like it, because everything is just hey, here's a weekend seminar, go and run with it. And nowadays there's well, at least, like, I know I've been on NKT, so what's great about that is it's a weekend seminar, and it's very challenging material, especially for the first level that you do with it, because it just kind of breaks a lot of paradigms for you. You're just like, wait, what is this? How how is this a thing? The protocol you got to think of, and it's just basically you're trying to wrap your head around a concept first and foremost, and that's the hardest thing when you haven't been exposed to anything like that. But the great thing is there's a community around it. So as soon as you finish, you get to join a scholars page, and you get to ask your questions, you get them answered, and then they have follow-up study groups and stuff. So once a month you get to meet up with your peers for a few hours and actually get together and talk about a specific topic, discuss it, as well as practice. And there's just so many courses that just don't do that. You just get left on your own. This sounds a hell of a lot more integrative, like it's actual structured learning, which is cool, and is covering a bunch of stuff that's super important, which Prescript is a great name for it as well, because I think it is the thing that you need to start yourself off. You need to understand the biomechanics, you need to understand anatomy, you need to understand how muscles and systems work so that you can program efficiently for people. And that's the bit that I'm really in for it as well, which is the programming element. Because I spoke to you at some point, which was I can get people from a fundamental level and get them up to a good point where they just have everything they need and have everything they want. But I want to be able to program. I want to have more than that. I want to be able to program to another level and understand the nuances of that programming a little bit more as well. So that's going to be exciting. So yeah, the course sounds like it's not anything of it's not structured in a way that I've come across anything before. So that's going to it's going to be super interesting. I sent him a message. It's like he posted on his Insta. Jordan posted on his Insta. It's like, this semester's over. Big love to everybody who's come in. He's just like, representing a really good portion of the representing a portion of the fitness industry, and like who are just committed to doing really, really well and like leveling things up. And then I just responded to that, and I was like, my big brown bear brother, Umar, has recommended me for the course, and I'm psyched to start, man. He was like, yeah, pumped, brother. Pumped for you to start.
It, man. Wicked,
so
wicked.
I got like the 4 B's, big brown bear brother.
That's a pretty lovely description there, man. I'm gonna have that on my CV and just like, I am your big brown bear brother. That's who I am. That's what I can do for you.
Exactly. I got to send you something as well afterwards. I just remembered it's something about a big brown bear as well.
Love it. That's if I had a spirit animal, it would definitely be a bear. Definitely just be a big brown bear, just chilling in the woods by himself, mind his own business. Just like, I'm gonna have some fish now. I'm gonna have some fish. I'm gonna just go chill by the river and just like go for a sleep. I'll see you in a while.
Bro, yeah, exactly. 5 months, I'm just out. I'll see you guys later. I'm chilling.
That was brilliant.
That would appease the old you and the new you, right?
There we go. If I just had to just morph them into one, I would just come out as a bear. That's what I would do. Some kind of really weird, like Captain America transformation, just goes into the thing, comes out like just a bear, just a grizzly bear as he open the thing. That's it. That's how it works.
Oh, that's fantastic, Captain Bear. You're gonna love that. All right, I'm gonna send it. I might even post it as well. I think I'm not gonna say anything more about it. I'm gonna post it, but I sent it to you guys as well, because obviously we talk about like Sylvia being the big gorilla, but also interchanges with a bear. There was this video that I found of a bear that just broke into somebody's cabin.
Oh shit!
And it is mad. It's like they just basically got security cameras around, and it's like a 30-second video of a bear, just big ass paw, just slaps the door down, totally trashes the door, and just waltzes in and just starts looking around like this. It's like, right, hello, anyone here? And then he just bowls back out again. It's almost like he was looking for someone to play with and just left.
Oh man, play.
Giant. The thing is a giant. It's a freaking bear, right? It's unbelievable how big this thing is. Wow. And then I just sent it to the group, the Whoop group on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is Sylvia looking for people to spar with.
Anybody home? Nobody home? Oh god, find the next town.
Yeah, exactly. Guess I gotta just do some kettlebells on my own.
That's it. Just get to the field. Do you think? I love how the bear knows where the door is as well. These things are just too smart, man. It's scary. It's too smart.
Exactly.
If I just had to be a bear tomorrow, I wouldn't know where the river was. I wouldn't know how to just go and find some salmon. But this guy's like knowing how to get into my house. Like, what? How is that a thing? How is that allowed, man?
Oh,
That's not
amazing. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it just looks around. I guess it's like, oh, this looks like it's hard concrete. I can't get
Yeah,
through it. Oh, this thing I could break down.
yeah, you're getting it.
Yeah, man.
You're getting it. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's freaking funny, man. But yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Doing some pre-script once a week, and then getting that
It's
study.
I think it's the chat as well. Like, so the the thing with, I think, having a course mentor for a weekend is that you're almost a little bit like a bit of deer in headlights, a little bit, where you're just like, okay, I'm here for the course, I'm here, kind of
Mm.
traveled here, kind of got my clipboard ready and my lapboard or laptop or whatever, and you're straight into it, right? You're straight into it. You're learning, you're question and answering. You're jumping on a machine, or how the course is laid out. You're jumping on a therapy table, and obviously we're talking about it being in person. But the way this is that you feel so engrossed within the community straight away because it's just a slow integration. And I think that's very much in line with what they teach. Is this like he talks about this like long runway of progression, where you're starting off at a certain level and you own that level, and like you have a whole week to digest that information. It literally just is an hour's worth of lecture. But Jordan being Jordan, he talks a billion miles an hour. So you have to legit. I'm that guy who has to like if they had like a replay count on the thing or how much time you rewinded it, I'll be ashamed because I've literally I think I've paused and rewound so many times just to be like, what did he say? Like, what was that
Yeah,
last little bit? And he hasn't even got an accent. He speaks English, like not even speaking a foreign language. I understand, but
yeah,
he's speaking well Canadian English. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, man, it's yeah, it's because sometimes like, do you ever find this with course lecturers sometimes where they say something which is almost like a throwaway line, but
yeah,
you're like that's gold. Like
yeah.
that's really important for me to hear. Like I'll find that he does that sometimes. It's like kind of the prosody of his voice kind of change, kind of be
Mm.
going through and he'll just drop a golden line. And he'll just on to the next thing. It's oh shit, what
Yeah,
was that? What was that? Rewind, go
exactly.
back. Like what did he say there? Because that's like sparks so much more interest in what
That's
he's
it.
talking about, and it fuels the next conversation. But it's the like you said, the Q&A as well. So you do the course, and then at the end of it, you do the week, sorry, and then at the end of it, you go onto Facebook and you type out any questions you have, and you get a second, usually like a half an hour long video of him just answering questions on the spot. And that's how you know the guy's like he knows his shit like backwards because he just reads a question and you just reel off an answer there and then. He's not like going away to research it. He's like, here's the answer. Like I had it. It was in my brain the whole time. Like it's crazy. It's super smart, man. And I think that gives you a lot more confidence with one, asking questions, and two,
Mm.
just kind of being comfortable in this setting of like, okay, I don't know everything right now, but I know over time I'll definitely pick up and I'll definitely learn more because I feel like this is just there's no pace to this. It's chilled. I can learn at my own pace, and like you said, the community as well. You ask questions, people ask questions, and you just feel like okay, everyone's learning this together. Everyone just ends up
Mm.
being super grateful for it because it's you can digest the information, you can actually start using it straight away.
Mm.
It's yeah, man, you'll enjoy it, bro. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, like asking questions, basically.
Yeah. That's the one, man.
So
That's the one.
yeah, I'm going to be hearing it. I'll probably be doing the same as you as well because it'll be like I think the thing I like doing is just like I'll watch it through once, and then I've got an idea of what's being talked about, and then I'll go play it again,
Mm-hmm.
and then pause like, what was that? What did he
Mm.
just say? And then yeah, those throwaway lines. It's just amazing because you hear that line and you think I'm pretty sure that's a whole lecture in and of itself, and it's just a throwaway line. Oh man, all right, cool.
Yeah,
So
that's it, man. That's so
yeah,
true. That's so true. Have you got any points of inquiry off the bat? Like I know you mentioned like your programming, and you mentioned kind of like how to maybe see somebody through a block of training and like kind of see them onto a year's worth of programming, 2 years worth of programming. Where do you think your interest like most lies before you even go in?
yeah, I think that would cover it for sure. Um, I think mostly yeah, like definitely the programming element,
Mm.
but I'm keen to hear. I'm keen to hear a lot of stuff because with regards to the biomechanics and stuff of it all, there's a couple of things I've seen from like people stories that people have posted, like flow charts and things like that as well. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this will be interesting to see the level of thinking behind certain concepts as well. I want to understand concepts of it all, and so I can be confident with the concept. So it's like, okay, if I have the concept, then I can apply it to anyone effectively. So yeah, the biggest thing was the programming element, because I've done a fair amount of work in with other people, with other courses and stuff, like understanding biomechanics, a little bit about the neurobiomechanics as well. So like, nervous system effect on movement and everything like that, and how essentially the main thing you're trying to affect when it comes to movement is the nervous system. So you respond well to movement. And I'm curious about everything that comes up, but particularly that was the thing, was like, okay, I really want to get good at that kind of thing. And you've got so much out of it. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, this is something to delve into.
For sure, man. For sure, definitely. I think the way things are broken down, it definitely gives you an ability to go away and explain them and understand them and really own that information. And I think that's credit to the guy coaching it, right? Because he fully understands it, and the way he's kind of, you can tell he's gone around the bush with this stuff, and he's really kind of made it so he understands every little bit. So when he explains it to you, there's no. Sometimes you may need to go back and re-listen to it a few times, but once you are on the level that he's explaining things at, you get it. Like, you can go away and kind of break it down for somebody else. And again, I think from a client's perspective, that's invaluable. Like, having a coach who can actually fully understand, fully knows the lessons that he's trying to impart onto you. It's everything, right? It's everything, because it means progression. It means that what you signed up for is what you're going to get. You're going to get that understanding around all these concepts. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
looking forward to chatting to you when you start it off, and being like, okay, all right, let's talk.
Yeah, fully. I'm looking forward to talking about it, because I know you got TJ on it as well. Bilal's going to be on it, and then you've been on it, so we'll be on the journey together. And then you've been on it already, so yeah, we'll just keep. Yeah, it'd be great to chat, like, because everybody's going to think about it in a slightly different way. And that's what's going to be great, because if we can get those kinds of questions and conversations going on, where somebody else brings a different viewpoint to it. Because let's say, for example, Bilal is relatively new to training clients compared to us lot, and TJ's got his way of thinking about things. I've got my way based on what I've done. You've done the course as well, so. And what's great for you in that respect is, like, if we ask a question, you'd be like, "Oh crap, there was something that I didn't think about," which is what I like as well. If somebody's, this is why I like being a teacher as well, because somebody is going to ask me a question which either I haven't thought about, or I'm going to have to, or if I have thought about it, but it's just there in my head, I've not actually had to get it out and put it on paper, like, and say it. Like, a client of mine asked me, she's like, every time I get to the hard part of the exercise, I just feel like I really just really close my eyes, and it helps me push out the last few reps. And she's like, "Why is that?" And I was like, "You know what? That's a good question, which I don't have a complete answer for right now. I have my own hypothesis for it, but I'm gonna have to figure that one out. I'll get back to you." And because it's just part of the idea is that if you're struggling to find stability, your body will find it in any way possible. And one of the ways it can do that, like a good example of that, is when if your core is weak, you might use your jaw to help you stabilize, like by biting down even more. So you know how, like, you got the bite plates and stuff like that. If somebody's going for the heaviest lift possible, it's like, you've got the bite plate down as well. So you just like bite down on it, so you can get that extra bit of stability being driven into your system, because just by pure location, your jaw is pretty close to your brainstem. So it's just going to send you that signal to, it's going to, by proxy, it will provide a good a signal to the brain to help you stabilize. So
Mm-hmm.
if your core is inefficient, then you might find yourself biting down in your jaw more often to
Wow.
create stability. And so if you notice that people, always doing that, then you just think to yourself, okay, well, is it happening all the time? Then that means you don't have a prerequisite core stability. Potentially, that could be where it's coming from, and often that ends up being the case. Or is it just happening when it's in the last few repetitions of an exercise, kind of thing? So
Mm-hmm.
are we training a bad pattern at the last few reps? Or is it just, are we okay with making that compensation because it is the last few reps and you're lifting pretty heavy? So that's where the nuance comes into it as well. It's like, how far do we take it? And so things like that. So the idea that, she was like, closing her eyes, shutting everything. I was like, this is maybe a way for your body to try and buy that extra bit of stability in every way possible, because you're just clenching down on everything that way. But I need to find out why the eyes specifically are involved in that sense. If it's the same reason. So this is why it's good to have people that ask questions on a regular basis. Like that could be something like can put into one of the Q&As for Jordan. It's like, why do you think that happens? So us coming at it from different angles, having that kind of question that might come up, that's going to be super useful to have that conversation. I think another thing, to be more specific, that came up when you were asking me about it was, the design of a program from, say, endurance to strength speed to speed strength, and then power and everything like that. It's like, where do we lead from one to the other? When where do we lead from one to the other? Is it necessary for everyone to kind of go through that? How long do you want to stay in that kind of phase, depending on the kind of person you got in front of you? Just loads of questions about that kind of thing.
Stuff's super interesting, man. So interesting. I love the individual variability around that kind of stuff, because you can almost tie it into what kind of personality the person has, especially when you're not. So when you're confined by someone's sport, and you're like, okay, this person is a swimmer, right? So we got to get very good at what they do in the pool and kind of work in those energy systems and make sure they're able to exact on their stroke properly. It's like your training is very specific to this, right? Whereas somebody's like Gen Pop, but say you've got two clients and one of them is quite kind of quite an aggressive character, kind of needs that. You see them and they're just somebody who needs to kind of get after it, right? It's like, okay, well, how can we program with these parameters for this person to make them fully exact on the things that they naturally are? And then in turn doing, like, it's more of a sensory enjoyment for them, as opposed to kind of like, I'm going to the gym to lift 3 sets of 10 and then 3 by 15 and like this. It's like, well, would they prefer like pushing a heavy prowler? Would they prefer kind of doing some heavy med ball slams, or something more tactile, something more like physical, where they're getting hold of a med ball and they're grappling with it and like kind of just making it hyper individual? Like that's the real nitty gritty of being a personal trainer. It's like, or like a preferred personal coach. It's like, I want to make it so that these modalities, we have all these tools, but which one do I want to select for you individually? Like, you enjoy this, or you maybe even need that. That's the fun stuff, man. That stuff is ultra fun, because as soon as you get adherence from a client, as soon as somebody kind of understands that, you're not just taking their money for making them stand on the treadmill and talk to them for half an hour. It's like, okay, well, and then they have a genuine interest. And I think this is where, like, you tell me what your experience is on this, right? Like, sometimes you've clients, my pet peeve, right? When you have a client and a trainer, and the trainer's educated and they know their shit, but the client is sometimes completely void of any information, any understanding, any kind of like need to understand, right? It's I really don't like that. I almost imagine, like, I understand that some people have extremely busy lives, but I think there's a baseline that a trainer should kind of give to the client in terms of knowledge, and expect them almost to be like, okay, the same way I expect you to squat, or I expect you to whatever movement substitute. Not everyone has to squat, but I'm saying, like, the same way I expect you to apply yourself to the exercise, I also expect you to apply yourself to knowing why we're doing this, or why we're kind of along this journey. And I feel like that sometimes is a missing piece that people, because they don't have that buy-in, they don't have that understanding, they can't ever take their training to the next level, or they can't ever take their training to a place where they see it as something that they do every single day, regardless of they have to change the modalities or whatever. Because they have the understanding now, they fully immerse themselves in it. And I think that that's sometimes a missed with client and trainer relationships. It's like I'm here to train you, yes, but I'm also here to just impart awareness. And obviously, like we talked about, it's like awareness, alignment, and action, right? It's like once you have that awareness, we can then align together, or we can just act on it. It doesn't matter if we have to vary the level of actuation that day because you're tired or whatever, but it gets so much more infinitely fun and more like infinitely malleable as soon as we are on the same page with this. And I think that's a really fun part of my job, is that kind of educating people along the way. Yeah, man. What do you think to that?
Yeah, that's the kind of people I prefer to deal with as well, for sure. Is there are people though who actually genuinely don't care. they just go, I mean, I haven't come across them too often because you kind of attract who you attract as well. It's like they kind of see your energy, you feel your vibe. You're like, okay, you're this way. This is the kind of person that I need. And me as a trainer, I've got better at vetting my clients as well. It's just be like, all right, there's certain people who just don't want to work with because they're not going to vibe. And which is completely fine. He's like, I could, beat my head against the wall and try and get results with someone for 6 months who's just not interested in learning about how to sustain those results, but they're just going to keep hiring a trainer just to keep them on track. And like, I can be that. I've got a long time. I've got like clients who I've had relationships like five years now or something. And but it's still fun because they're still willing to learn and keep learning as well. And we're vibing on that front. But there'll be other people who just like, just show me what I got to do, don't care, and I'll just do what you tell me to do. And for me, that is not the way I want to operate. I don't get as much enjoyment out of that. For me, that runs out very quickly. Obviously, I've learned that by doing that as well. Like 3 months down the line, I'm like, okay, this person only wants a trainer because they want a trainer, because for whatever reason, it either feels like it's right for them to have a trainer. It feels like that's the only way they're ever going to train, and that's fine as well. But then they'd like, the excitement isn't there basically for me. With not being able to if that person is not interested in learning how to live a healthier life, basically, if it's just the sake of having a trainer because it feels like an obligation for their own fitness as opposed to a way of like leveling up, then it's like, okay, fine. I'm probably not the guy for you. There's going to be somebody else. Like, I'll give you a good example of that. Like several years ago, I had a client referred to me, and when I was talking to them, and I was like, look, this is how I run my packages. It was like, I'm not really that interested in the nutrition part. And I was like, okay, what's that about? And I go, just don't really I'm not interested in improving my nutrition at all. Like, yeah, it's like, you could, maybe ask me to drink a little bit less or whatever, but honestly, I'm just not going to do that kind of thing. And for me, I was like, you know what? It's good that you're honest about that kind of thing. But the fact that you've already closed your mind to it and you're assuming that I'm going to approach it in a way which you're not going to like is, it means that I can't help you, basically. So I was like, I think you're better suited to another colleague of mine, another trainer of mine who can help, a trainer that I know who can help you with that. And yeah, so just for me, it just wasn't going to be the kind of person I could vibe with. And whereas on the flip side, picking up people who are like, yeah, I'm committed to the journey. I want to learn how to do all these things well, and getting a hell of a lot more out of it than they bargained for as well.
Yeah.
And appreciating that and just seeing how far they can take things based on the work that we do. That's the kind of person that I really get a lot out of working with. So I'm with you on that, where I want to be working with somebody who feels like they're taking on the tools to improve their life, whether I'm there or not. And but there's definitely plenty of people out there who don't care about that kind of thing, and they're happy to have a trainer who's going to help them out, but they're not interested necessarily in taking that stuff on.
Super interesting, man. That's a it's a weird one to me. So I feel like I'm gonna pay you my money, and I'm gonna expect for you to just tell me what to do, and then we're just gonna avoid anything past that point. Just makes no sense. But yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Those people definitely do exist.
And it's like, I guess it's also a part of like the fitness industry as well. It's just the way we're perceived. So you think you're going into it and being like, I'm just going to have this dude or woman who's just going to tell me what to do and what I need to do, and that suits me in this phase of my life. And that's just like the perception that over time it just needs to change, is because there's a hell of a lot more to it than that. If you want to be effective as a human being, what we talked about that last week, right? Becoming an effective human being, then you got to learn this shit for yourself, and you got to be interested in learning it for yourself. But again, like we say, there's, even if the fitness industry does shift and provide that view of this is about health overall rather than somebody being there to smash you into shape, there's still going to be people who are not interested in taking that view. They'll just be like, no, I just still want somebody who's just going to take care of this for me and not have to take charge of not have to take charge of it because I've got to put somebody else in charge of it. It's kind of like, in a way, you're compartmentalizing, you're delegating that part of your life to someone else.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that from somebody's perspective who's like busy and doesn't have much brain space to spare. But then people who just kind of maybe you do need to like give a shit, because it's going to help you out. It's going to help the whole family out. But yeah, different time and a place for everything, right? I guess. It'd be interesting to see like how things change in a post-COVID kind of world. That's gonna be an interesting thing. Obviously, they're kind of going into a different kind of gym venture now, but how people think about their health and fitness. Because I don't know if you're noticing this, but I think I've been busier. I've been busier in this time than I was like kind of pre being in a gym, and being a conventional personal trainer. Like people kind of see you as the badge, and they just kind of think, okay, you're just like all the other personal trainers. Whereas now it's like if you can differentiate yourself and actually be a bit more about it, people are so much more aware of health and much more aware of like looking after themselves that they almost see you differently. I don't know if you kind of had the same experience, especially like right now because of the whole coronavirus experience. Yeah.
So like, just explain that a little bit to me. When they say they see you differently, is that because of their value has shifted, or they realize that a personal trainer is not a personal trainer?
Well, I think a lot of things, right? So are you getting this flickering thing on your screen?
No, I'm good.
It's like slightly blacking and slightly kind of coming back, tiny. I don't know if it's going to go any further than that, but it's like a little blink. No,
all good.
Oh, no worries. I think it's a case of the world's a much slower place. Like everyone's kind of actually got time to think and actually take in things, and I think in doing that, people are realizing that through conversations you've had with somebody in the past, or through maybe being more aware at a certain point, but not ever being able to exact on that awareness and being like, okay, let me have more of a conversation with this person. Like I've had people who were at the gym that I was PTing at before, follow me on Instagram before, and not kind of action on it, not kind of chase me up or ask me a question, but now during kind of lockdown times, reaching out and being, oh, okay, how do you do things? Like kind of what's going on here? What's going on there? How do you kind of work your prices? I'm interested in being a client of yours. And I find that that's like, it must be a product of obviously people having more time, people kind of being much more aware of their health being kind of like pushed to the forefront every single time. Obviously people are dying. And then like looking to more credible people in society that don't just follow the moniker of I'm a standard PT, I'm gonna shop with my coat on in the gym and I'm gonna mope about and maybe talk to like 5 people and go home again. It's like that's not what we do. You know what I mean? That's the experience I've had definitely since lockdowns happened. Is that people almost gravitating towards people who they think can help. If that's if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Whereas before it was a little bit like, because health wasn't pushed as much as it is being right now. People weren't as forthcoming with it. Maybe a little bit avoidant. Whereas now it's like it's plastered all over the place. Like, you've got to look after yourself. You've got to be much more aware of these things. And I think people are kind of a bit more brave with actioning on that.
In what way do you think is more plastered all over the place to look after themselves?
Well, I suppose like kind of just the pure fact that people are dying, right? Like,
Sure.
people are dying, and people are kind of like in obviously what's exaggerated in the media, right, is clearly exaggerated. Like, I think I heard someone say, like, well, actually, one of my cousins was saying at the weekend that the death toll 2019 to start of 2019 to August 2019 and January to 2020 to January to August 2020 is fairly the same. Like, even with and without coronavirus, it's fairly same. So like, it shows that there's, I don't know if that's actually 100% true or not, but if it is, then obviously just like all this stuff is blown massively out of proportion. But I find that from the pure fact that gyms are closed, so access to health is much less, but the need and the perception and the want to be healthy with okay, you can go out for your daily walk. As simple as a thing as that probably sounds, people are much more aware that, oh, when I walk, I feel healthy. Like, who else is walking? Like, what else is being pushed in terms of a health setting? Oh, this personal trainer's always been around. I wonder what he has to say. Like, little things like that, people making those connections and kind of being more aware of it at home. And then you see like what home workouts are kind of going through the roof right now. People kind of, it's almost being brought to them. Whereas before you had to go out and buy a gym membership. Now it's like everybody's being made much more aware that health, and like health even in the home, is a thing. And then I think as a consequence, people who are like purveyors of health, like I think we kind of see ourselves that way in society, right? Like, we all of a sudden have an opportunity to become seen as much more valuable, rather than seen as like, oh, just personal trainer. Yeah, he's on the board at the gym that I go to, and that's it. That's about it. Whereas now it's like, oh, okay, let me actually kind of see what this person's actually about. That's that's the response I've been getting a lot more recently. And I'm not very active on social media. I don't really like kind of doing that stuff, even though I should do it a lot more. I find people kind of messaging and people referring a lot more as well.
Nice.
And I suppose that's even down to a bit of togetherness, right? A bit of kind of cohesiveness, somebody to listen, somebody to kind of to be there at a time of need. And I think that's what we do, right? Like, as a job, kind of, we are people who kind of, if you've identified a need in yourself and you go and hire a personal trainer, that trainers are there for you for that need. And I think right now a lot of people are kind of maybe having a lot of time to think about the fact that they have needs, they have things that they're not kind of fully actualizing on, and they want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. Like, have with those kind of people, have you noticed what age group they kind of fit into?
Middle, to right down the middle. I mean, I'm not getting kind of people that are too young, kind of teenagers, early 20s. I'm getting kind of like 40 plus till about not quite 50, but kind of in that middle kind of gap. I don't know what that means, but maybe it just kind of means that like people are kind of aging out almost. You know, like aging out. Like, I got that from Batman. You know, Batman was the last Batman.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. That's the one where like Robin's talking about when there's that boys' home and they get to 18 and they age out, and they have to go out into the big wild world now, like big wide world. And like these kind of 40-something-year-olds are kind of, they're on perceived in society, right? Like, oh, you're going to get 50 and you'll be old now. They're kind of on that cusp. Whereas, okay, let me fix my shit now, because I don't want to go into being 40 and then being 50 and then not kind of regretting I didn't do it now. So that's kind of been the experience, man.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yes, I was curious about the age group as well, because obviously with COVID, the number one risk factor is essentially obesity and age as well. So you put the two together, if you got overweight people, it looks like, people especially under 40 is almost it's the same rate as same thing as contracting regular flu, and these people just do fine with it generally. Of course, you're going to have your outliers outliers who respond in a negative way. Then, and then it's 40 plus where it starts to get a little bit more ropey, but then especially 60s onwards. But at the same time, like, yeah, I can imagine where getting into the 40s is where you're starting to think, okay, I really need to start taking care of myself, because if this thing is around, I don't want to be 60 and dying from something which I could have prevented by being healthier. It's more like, in that sense, it's a little bit more in your face, where here's this thing that's come out of nowhere and it's wiping people out who have underlying health conditions. And so if you're in that age category, which you're, approaching that age where you could have health problems, and you're also looking at it and thinking, all right, in 20 years I'm going to be 60, or in 10 years I'm going to be 60, and that puts me at a greater risk of catching a whole bunch of different things, and this thing has highlighted that, then yes, it's a damn good idea that you start taking care of yourself and looking at a personal trainer, somebody who's going to coach you to a better standard of living, rather than thinking of it as, oh, here's that dude on the board, like you described. Yeah, so I'd say, I mean, personally, I've got a client who's definitely taking things a lot more seriously as a result of COVID, and big credit to them, because just started smashing things as a result. And yeah, and we talked about it when, like, probably first, second, third podcast as well, where we were saying, if there's one thing that we hope comes out of it, is that people just take care of themselves better, because we're noticing how it's affecting more vulnerable people with underlying health conditions. It's just wiping them out. And so, yeah, the number one thing you can do to counteract that is not be in hospital in intensive care and fucking get treated for it and then come out feeling like total shit for, they're saying like 3 months, 6 months afterwards, people still getting respiratory problems. And rather, go get healthy so that your immune system can actually fight this thing off. And not just that, this is just one thing of many. Because in our day and age now, if you take care of your health, it depends if you want to, but you have potential to live to like 100 years old. It's just at that stage now, where we have that possibility to do that, and fairly easily. So rather do that with some good quality of life, rather than just it being all about quantity. And yeah, I find that's my hope. Is I just hope that people really find that they need to take care of themselves better and take that seriously. And yeah, your point about people having more time to think about it, I guess the conscientious people will go, okay, here's a bunch of things that I can do to make use of this time that I've got, and have reflected and realized, here's how I could have been using my time better, and health is one of them, and realize there's a bunch of things I don't understand about it. Let me go and employ somebody who knows that. So then, yeah, they start to respect those people with that knowledge a lot more. And again, I think it still comes down to just making sure we're not looked at as people who just smash people to get fit, but actually we're kind of health and fitness coaches. We're going to help you level up your health so that you can level up your life.
That's the one, bro. That's the one. Yeah. I was talking to a client of mine yesterday. Actually, I need to do this. This is a shout out to my client Sam, who bought me pretty much the best gift I've ever received from a client. So I've got to show you. This. It's actually over there. Man. So like, I kind of want you to close your eyes for a second, G, because this is pretty special.
Right? Got it.
So I'm gonna try and hold these up. I don't even know how I'm gonna do this. Okay, go for it. Look at this shit. Look at this shit.
I thought it was a tie for a second.
It's suck, right? Oh, no, sorry, this one around, right? I mean, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, I mean, could I be any happier with my life right now? Like, just just the best. The best. Look at the spectrum on this shit. Like everything, right? I'm so happy. So Sam, you are the best. Like if ever I thought that the people I get to work with were not amazing enough, like
Yeah,
come on.
super great. All right,
Wow,
clients. I hope you're
Epic.
tuning in. I hope you're seeing that, because I'm expecting good shit come my way now. You got to level up.
Let's go. Yeah, she was talking about kind of members of people that she knows and whatever, and we just kind of got into the topic of like train, not to necessarily look a certain way, but just to be more resilient in the face of shit that could come your way. And I remember that the video that I posted on Instagram about Kevin Hart and how he went through his car crash, and it's like he was cool after. He wasn't cool afterwards, but he was this close to being very not cool afterwards. But the fact that he'd take care of himself, looked after him, like, and his rebound, his recovery was not so long that it let him kind of stay in a state of like depression or kind of like being super still, which obviously we know it's shit for the body. It enabled him to get back to playing much sooner. And I think that's the thing that people just kind of are not aware of. And it's almost like, I feel like it's our responsibility as PTs to bring that to people's attention, and just kind of package it in a way that I feel like we can be an essential service to society, like as a personal trainer, as a personal coach, as somebody who has the information that a doctor may have, or like within our own jurisdiction. I feel like that's where we need to take our profession, and I feel like as the more of our clients that buy into that, like they just become our spokespeople. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I see them, and it's just a case of affecting more people with this knowledge, and then just seeing the growth, the change in society. I think it's really, especially in Leicester, I think we have a massive opportunity. Like I personally feel like I have a massive opportunity with other PTs in Leicester to be like, okay, right, well, we're the black sheep of the country because we ain't look after ourselves. So let's turn that around. You know what I mean? Because we've got a massive opportunity here to go from like bottom of the class to like like A-star students. Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep leveling up. Just do the right thing. You keep leveling up. I think that's yeah, man. I think there's a couple of things that I wondered about there as well. Is it's just random thought just came to my head, which was, if we take it back like several hundred years, or like, I don't know, like hunter-gatherer societies where basically you're active for like 4 or 5 hours of the day looking for your food, and the rest of the time you're chilling and going to sleep with the you're waking up and going to sleep with the rising and the falling of the sun. You know, is like, do they have personal trainers? That's a legit question. You know, it's like, I want someone to answer that for me. Like, or did they have those kinds of experts who needed to coach that kind of thing to an extensive degree? Because I find like just thinking about it is like, I think we're in really in period in terms of the evolution of the human species. It's like I don't know, sometimes I feel like there's like cycles, because in terms of there were higher level civilizations previously, and there's an argument for example, with the way that the pyramids were built, that we still don't know how the hell to recreate that stuff. So there's potentially a higher level of knowledge that we don't have access to.
Fucking scary, man.
Yeah, it's mad. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's like I find that amazing. I think that's like, holy shit, that is some next level stuff that if we don't know how to do that well, then if we can't replicate it, then what the hell was that? What have we lost? What are we missing? And so then there's questions like, are we actually a higher level civilization compared to what's gone previously? Because what tends to happen is, shit gets wiped out. We never know what level that we could have actually attained, because the kind of artifacts that we have to fall back on are solid things, and they give you an indication of the way we might have lived life, as opposed to being something that's fully concrete. So we've just got basically a bunch of ideas about how we used to be, and we think that we're at a high level right now in terms of civilization. We are at the pinnacle of it. But then if we are, we shouldn't be arrogant about it, because there's definite pros and cons to what we're doing. And so where I'm going with that is we've built up this kind of civilization in society where technology has taken things to such a level where we don't have to want for many things. If we're lucky enough to be in a third of the planet which has access to technology like the way we do. But then because of that, we've very much lost touch with what is good, healthy living, which actually makes us genuinely fulfilled and happy. So, being active, being surrounded by people who care about you and you care about, going to sleep and waking up with the rising and the falling of the sun, that kind of thing. And so we're in a phase where we have to learn all the intricacies of taking care of ourselves, because even though it's something we've naturally done well for so long, we're in a phase in our history where we just don't know how to do that anymore, because all the signals for the ability to take care of ourselves are all over the shop. Having light, 24 hours of light, artificial light, bright light, having hyper convenience, hyper processed food, where we get tons of calories, not a lot of nourishment. All of the stimulus that we receive in our environment is hyper stressful, to the extent where it's not something that piques your stress, like if a fucking tiger jumped out at you, but something that is at a low level all the time, and so it keeps raising your stress levels. And because we don't have to move about anywhere near as much as we used to, we're just we're practically sedentary creatures now. So everything we know how to naturally do well, which actually helps us take care of ourselves, we just don't know how to do that anymore. So there's even more necessity for us learning what we learn, so that we can actually help people to actually live more naturally, essentially, in a way, is to live healthily. That was just one of the things that kind of came up while you were talking about that as well. Have you ever, what have you thought about, like if you've ever thought about that kind of thing?
Well, not say I've thought about it, but I mean, what you're saying makes total sense. Like when you were talking, I was thinking, like, the guy from like Barney Rubble, did he have a mortgage? Like, didn't have a mortgage. He just had a brontosaurus, right? Like, he was chilling. And it's
Yeah, the Flintstones is historical fact, isn't it?
Bam Bam Rubble, like that shit was real, man. Yeah, and there's so many moving parts to it, but I think if we want to be in a position as personal trainers to offer help, offer advice, offer like some kind of better life, I think we've got to just know all the variables and know how they play out and how those pieces interact. And like, kind of, for instance, I had a client contact me yesterday, and he was a potential client, and he was talking about how his life is very stressful, like extremely stressful, like the kind of stress that you wouldn't wish on anyone. And now it's my job to help him almost unpack these things, as well as work on his dorsiflexion. You know what I mean? So it's like we've got so many cool roads to walk down, but it's that's where the skill of the coach has to be there. You know what I mean? You can't just hire. You can't just call yourself a personal trainer. I almost feel like this is going to go toward like, what's the word? Like a qualification measure. Like, all these like weekend courses that just not in void. Like, you can call yourself a fitness enthusiast or whatever you want to fucking call it, right? Like, you can have that word, but you can't have personal trainer, right? Because that would reclaiming that shit. Like, that's for the people that are actually like about it. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to come with your body.
Come up with a new one, man. You just got to come up with a new one.
That's it. Like, you just so my husband's sister, my husband's God damn, that's a soundbite for you, G.
I'm learning so much about you these days.
I said it 3 times as well. My husband. My sister's husband is a subject matter expert. He's actually a 2-time subject matter expert. Like, that's legit, right? Like, in his field, he's one of like I want to say 2 people in the world who has that kind of title. It's pretty crazy, right?
What does he do?
And he works with computers. Like that's as far as I know. Like he's basically the
You are
oracle.
not the
He's
subject matter expert, so you don't need to know.
he's like the Brown Oracle is what he is. If ever he comes on the podcast, that's going to be his name, Brown Oracle, Oracle Brown. And he's so basically because he's amassed these levels of like he's qualified here, he's qualified here, he's qualified there, he's proven himself here. He can call himself a subject matter expert within his field. Whereas we've had this discussion as well. Me and him and my sister have had this discussion whereby like in personal training, that doesn't really exist. It's like you can be on the same board on the wall next to somebody who's qualified last week, and to the world's eye, you're a personal trainer, same as they are. But it's definitely the onus just falls on us to differentiate for the simple fact that it's necessary, like super necessary. Super necessary. We got to get those t-shirts, man. Got to get those t-shirts. That's coming, people. That's coming. Merch.
Exactly.
First one.
Merch. We got Eat Motherfucker, and we've got Super Necessary coming up.
Super Necessary. That's the one, man. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm gonna send a free one to Street Jesus as well.
Yes. That'll be lovely. That'll be awesome, man. Imagine a shout out from Street Jesus. That'll be epic.
That'll be hilarious, man.
Yeah, man.
There's you know what? There's another way of looking at it, which is just bringing up the baseline level of standard, so that when somebody qualifies as PT, you're like, okay, they deserve to be on that board along with somebody who's got that 20 years of experience, that kind of thing. Because there's one thing I've been thinking about in terms of what's required of a PT is not just a certification and 6 weeks of here's a little bit about anatomy and physiology, and then you're good to go. I think it does need to be what Shallows is onto is what needs to happen for education in the fitness industry. I think it needs to be like that. I think it needs to be almost like a university course where you are learning that kind of stuff to the fundamental degree, which all the reviews, like you talking about Rescript the way you do, is like, yeah, I have this now, and I feel like that last final relay runner, I can just sprint with it, and I can affect so many lives with this because it's giving you that confidence as well as the prerequisite knowledge required to help people on a fundamental level where you can be like, okay, there's always risk attached to anything that anybody does, any advice anybody gives, any kind of training program that you put on, but it's minimal compared to the benefit that I'm providing someone because of all this knowledge and actionable knowledge that I've been able to pick up. Whereas, a fitness enthusiast turned personal trainer, you start out and you kind of forget to do your PAR-Q, you forget to do your physical activity readiness questionnaire, or you're in a class and you're like, anybody got any contraindications? Oh no, okay, let's just move on. You just miss that there's 3 or 4 hands that go up, say, yeah, I've got a dodgy knee, I've got a dodgy back, etc. And then you're not helping any, like the benefit that you're providing in terms of improving that person's fitness then gets outweighed by the fact that you just made them injury prone. So it's so we have to set the better baseline so that when you come into it, you have a hell of a lot more going for you in terms of the benefit you can provide than the potential risk. And a lot of it also comes down to knowing what to do with somebody in front of you who presents with a bunch of different things and being like, what, actually, this is not my wheelhouse. I'm going to refer you out. I think part of that needs to be educated properly as well, which is, where do you send somebody for a particular issue? Like how do you build your network for that kind of thing? There's lots of stuff, but basically comes down to improve the baseline that is required of people to come into the industry, and that makes a big difference overall. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where you go on these weekend courses, and it's like you can unpack it and you go, actually, this is like a 2-year course that I need to be on. That's the level of information that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I feel like that certainly needs to happen. I think
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be that level to it.
We can pioneer a new way, G. How about that? We can pioneer a new way.
Oh, I like
That's the
that
word,
phrase.
right?
I've heard that somewhere before.
Ah, somewhere.
It's some like big things coming
Keep
from this pioneering place.
keep an eye out, people. Keep an eye out.
Yeah,
It's
that's all.
change on the wind.
That's all that can be said for now.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's something to look forward to for sure. And then do you know what? I got to throw in Nick Daniel into the conversation a little bit as well, because
Yeah.
he's definitely somebody who he can probably attest to this himself. Like recently, being caught in that PT kind of mentality of loads of hours, stressed, and in a senior position. So it's kind of probably easier for him to take the paycheck and just kind of chill with it. But then actually somebody who's so interested in learning more and giving better value and actually improving the fitness industry, that he's gone away and actually kind of left a comfortable post to put himself through school again, go through chiropractic college, and then provide his own internship, which I also like. I think we're on week 13 next week, and that's running for another 5 weeks, 5 or 4 weeks, and yeah, that's the he's also helping to correct that status quo, right, where people have just gotten used to being okay. I've done a 6 week qualification. It's like, but now you're supposed to be able to program for 6 years. How's that going to work? Like, kind of,
Yeah.
you know 7 exercises. Like, there's just it's like almost the saying like, oh, I've listened to like a CD on how to speak Spanish, and now I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
No, you don't. It's like you just heard a CD like that. That's as far as your qualification goes. But yeah, man, it's I think it's the more people like that we have in the industry, the better. And I think like I said earlier, like the stage is set for us to definitely to be amongst people that change the landscape for sure. And that I think coming with clients that we have the chance. In my opinion, I think we hold the power in that sense to like you said earlier, work with a client or not work with a client. And sometimes when it's working with a client, I know how you are, I know how I am. It's like full investment. Like we're going out to together change this life. You know what I mean? To make them effective. And then that cycle continues. Like I don't know how many clients you've had come to you and say, I want to be a personal trainer as well. Like I want to be this. I want to do what you do because I feel like you give so much value, or you give kind of that feel good factor is there so much. And I'm literally just recently like 2 more. And if I'd counted the amount of clients I think that I've had through my entire life that have said to me at one point or another that I would like to do this for a profession, I swear it's like close to 20 clients that I've just said like I'll qualify. And some of them have gone away and done it. Some of them are still kind of knocking on that door and being like, yeah, I'd like to just do a course on the side and just kind of have the qualification, but then continue learning more. And it's like because they're a part of the process. They're part of the process. They've kind of been indoctrinated through the right channels, which a lot of the times way better than half the PTs you see. Like people that kind of just get into the industry for the money. You know what I mean? For the wrong reasons.
That's wicked. That's such that's inspiring. Like 20 people
Yeah.
will be like, I want to do what you do. This is how impactful you've been to me.
Yeah, man, it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see because you know that those are the kind of people that go home and talk about it, and like it's not to talk about it to get me another client. Like that's not the important thing. The important thing is that they now feel the benefit of improving their sleep. They now feel the benefit of having more confidence because they lifted an extra 2 kilos today, and they know that how effective that's been in their life to make them achieve their goals. But then their want to save the next life is there as well, because it's like, okay, you could if you just lifted this weight and you did it with the physical being, you know, your mental being could actually come along a lot further as well. Like a win in this setting, I'm sure you can talk on the neurology of this, but like a win in a physical sense is probably akin to like having hardwired in the brain like just wins in a multitude of settings, right? Like kind of
Yeah.
you probably perceive it the same way, right?
Yeah, it's like basically to your nervous system, a win is a win. It's like it doesn't matter where it comes from. It's just it is what it is. Um, that's amazing. That's the thing that gets me jacked up is having that effect on people where they're able to affect their circles with that same information. It's like so people I would never have met before will have the same benefit of the information I've imparted on my client. And that's just what it's about, man. That always gets me pumped up. And it was amazing. Like my client just told me this week, and it was super humbling to hear it as well. And she just goes, it's because like they're with extended family now as well, and so they're hanging around the dinner table. Just basically, she was saying, it's like there's hardly a conversation now where you don't come up.
Yes, I love that.
I was like, no way. I was like, oh man, it's like, so what kind of shit you speaking, huh? Like, that was really nice to hear. But it's also that's the impact that's going down right now, and that's what's so important about it.
Too right, man. We need that. Like, what was the show that I was watching? Like, I remember Mad Men. Have you watched Mad Men before with John Hamm?
Yeah, never watched it.
Couple episodes, right? Couple episodes. I think it was talking about like one of the episodes here. I think he's an ad agency. He does like marketing for ad agency, like, and they're basically talking about making something a household name. I think it was a cereal or it was a pack of cigarettes or something. But imagine a world where like personal trainers are a household name, like Kellogg's. Yeah. It's like, oh, we're into Sandu coaching, like kind of that's a household name. What? The landscape would just be ridiculous, right? Like that's a really effective place to live. You know what I mean? Like, kind of, you talk about these kind of like higher life forms that built these pyramids. But maybe we're gonna get pissed off one day and just float away and be like, no, to hell with you guys. Can't be asked anymore. And,
it was pyramids were built by aliens, man. Look into it.
Built by personal trainers who just didn't give a shit no more. They were Aztec personal trainers built that shit. So to host the first personal trainer games, and today we have CrossFitters who just doing it in their honor. That's the story behind that, G. That's the story behind that.
Exactly. They don't know, but that's what they're doing. That's exactly
too right. Too right. That's the one, man.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a. Yeah, could you imagine the household name? Well, what are the household names? Is this the only ones you can think of? The famous ones. The only one I can think of is Joe Wicks.
Yeah, Mr. Motivator.
Oh yeah, back in the day,
Mr. Motivator. Like he gets a shout out now and then. And then you get like the odd one who, like, remember like Steve Reeves as Hercules, and like Jeff Capes. Jeff Capes being like world's strongest man, UK world's strongest man.
right.
But they're like feats of strength people, right? They're not like kind of obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger. And like you have like Jack LaLanne, who like super famous back in the day. But I want, like, you know how like Anthony Pettis was on like the Wheaties box. Like I want to see Gurinder Sandhu on like a box of Frosties and just be like, great. Do your breathing drills.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah, not great. Not great. That's it, man.
Like, was it reverse advertising? It's like, no, we don't. How do we? That'd be hilarious. Like, yeah,
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's gonna happen, G. That's it. I've laid it out there in the universe now. Gurinder Sandhu will be on a box of some gluten-free cereal one day. We got to reach out.
On the box of Mr. Prempies.
Yes.
Combine
there
the
we
two.
Go. Oh yes. Come on now. That has to happen.
Organic,
bro.
Free, dairy-free, vegan-friendly, sick-ass desserts, man. There you go, a little plug.
Perfect. Could you win at life any more than that? Could you be healthy with a smile on your face because you got a lovely bit of goodness you've got to chow down on? You got Gurinder's face to look at. I mean, like, could you be life doesn't get much better. I mean,
exactly. Scarface.
That's it. This guy Al Pacino over here. Where's the accent's coming? The accent's coming.
Yes, it's going away. I don't know if I can do a Tony Montana properly, man. Yeah. Say hello to my little friend.
Gets me every time. You definitely can. You definitely can, G.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the podcast is coming where we just sit down and we just I just pick up a name card and I'm like, G, do it. G, do it. Go. And you just go away, comb your hair slightly differently, come back as some random character.
Yeah, man. Just we'll go all the way from like Set of Woman to Good Will Hunting to Gladiator
Perfect.
to American History X. Just throw that one in there.
I love it. Do you know what? Films is something that I need to catch up on. There's this. Do you watch Netflix? You ever watch Netflix?
Yeah. But I haven't actually. What's crazy is like during lockdown, I don't even think I've looked at it.
I actually deleted Netflix at the start of lockdown because I was like, this is gonna consume my life.
Sure.
Go, like, please, I'll join you again one day, but now you need to go. Like,
Bro, that's like okay, I know I've got more time in my hands now. I've got to stop doing the things that are going to eat that time. Like
That's
straight
true.
away, you just knew it. That's amazing.
It has to go. Like, legit, I think 2 weeks into lockdown, I'd locked on to doing Jordan's course, and then obviously get rid of Netflix, and then Nick came along with his one. I was like, oh shit, I got no time now.
Yeah.
But there's a really cool documentary that everyone's talking about. It's called Ertugrul, which is about like the rise of the Ottoman Empire.
Okay. How do you spell that?
I couldn't tell you, bro. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I'm gonna have to go on there and just like frenetic that shit out and try and get somewhere with it, or just message my cousin. Bilal was talking about it, and he when he comes on, he'll definitely talk more about it. But
Nice.
Are we set with guests for next week?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
You want to give us? Also, I should probably give us a little tease. So next week we've got a guest coming on, and I work with this guy at UP. He currently still works with UP. He's out in UP Hong Kong. They've had their own little ins and outs, shake it all about with lockdown over in Hong Kong. So he'll be able to touch on that a little bit. And he's a super trainer. Like in my idea of like Jordan talks about like Mount Rushmore of personal trainers, and there's like he would put like Charles Poliquin on there, and like Christian Thibodeau on there, and a load of other ones, right? But I think in terms of our level of personal, like my level of personal trainer, Simon Dutton is his name. He's definitely on my Mount Rushmore of personal trainers, just for being a sick guy and somebody who just like puts it all on the line for being a sick personal trainer, sick mentor. So he will be on the show next week. Definitely tune into that. If you're into fitness, you're into health, you're into people that again like are changing the landscape by applying themselves. Simon's definitely that guy.
Amazing. That's a hell of an intro.
Yeah, man. He's do you know what? He's a guy. He lives up to it, man. He definitely lives up to it. You'll enjoy next week, man, for sure.
Oh, wicked. So that's even got me even more jacked up for it now.
Too right, man.
He belongs in the Mount Rushmore of PTs. That's a level right there.
Too right. I think I've got to put. Who else would you put on that Mount Rushmore of PTs of people that you know? I think because he is a PT, Silviu's definitely got to go on mine. Like just for the sheer insanity of it.
He makes you level up, man. He just gives you something.
Because find your baseline, just because you ain't never been here before.
But exactly, yeah, man. You think like this is your roof. You're going to train up to here, and you're going to see that you're capable of so much more when he's done with you, man. It's epic.
That's it, man. That's it. I think you talk about like kind of raising your HRV by being hydrated. It's like Silvio will just make that shit go up by looking at it. Just be like, hey. What? Which be like, okay, I'll put it up, man. Don't mess with me, man. Don't try and choke me out.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go it up, man. Too right. No, G. So Simon will be on next week. And then the week after, or 2 weeks after.
Whenever you can, man.
Oh, okay. So we got 2 PTs potentially coming on in the next couple of weeks. So really making it about the up and coming health game with our other personal trainers. So we'll let you know more about that one when it's time.
Yeah, got some good conversations coming up. People giving a different perspective on the PT game, as well as just good conversation coming up, different perspectives. yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, because yeah, someone like Simon, like that'd be interesting. You guys have worked together. Yeah, I don't know who he is as well, so that's gonna be a good conversation as well. Just learn about someone like him. What took him to Hong Kong, what's his specialty, what does he enjoy working with, and all that kind of stuff, and what he sees happening out there. What's the differences between, like, what might be the difference between people who he's trained out there versus trained here. Kind of vibe he gets in terms of what the health and fitness scene is like over there, as well as his take on what it is to live up to your physical potential.
Well, there you go, Simon. Get answering, bro. Get answering.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
right.
That'll be a good episode.
That will be. Shall we leave the conversation there today?
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Have a great rest of your Sunday, people. We'll sign out here.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in. And guys, if you're enjoying what we're hearing, what you're hearing, then please subscribe and share it with your friends. It's important to get a conversation out there about how to live up to your physical potential, basically. And yeah, if you got any questions for us, fire them along. We are easily reachable on Instagram at Evolve Achieve Thrive. And yeah, we're looking forward to that conversation next week. I hope you are too.
Take it easy, people.
Ease.